The following may contain language that is not appropriate for all audiences. You know, small children, people that are easily offended, whatnot. All right, everybody. Thank you once again for joining us here on the Low Fact Podcast. Although, as I look back on the stuff that we put out, you could really just call it philosophy by dummies.
Yep. Dummy.
So here's a question.
Dudes.
Let me go back and look at it.
No worries. I'll edit this out.
You won't.
So here's the question: should we get stuff? Should we get stuff because of who we are, or because of what we do? And that is essentially, in a nutshell, what we dance around a lot. It's a variation of that question.
So, wait, what was the question again?
Should we get stuff because of who we are, or because of what we do? And it seems to me that the answer is both. And when I say the answer is both, it's people want to get stuff just because of who they are, but when they get it, they want to convince themselves and everyone else it's because of what they did.
It sounds kind of gross when you say it like that. Like everyone's just...
What do you mean it sounds kind of gross? What's so gross about it?
Like everyone deserves shit just because of who they are? Is that what you're essentially saying?
Well, that's what people think.
That they deserve shit who they are? No one deserves anything. You're not given anything and you work. I don't think so.
But you're just encapsulating what I just said.
Right.
Everyone wants stuff because of of their identity, who they are, but they want to convince themselves and everyone around them that they got the stuff because of what they did.
That's no bueno.
What do you mean that's no bueno?
Just because who you are, like, doesn't mean you get shit just because who you are.
Maybe you do.
I don't think so. But
maybe you do.
Maybe that's just a personal philosophy with myself. You don't deserve shit just because of who you are. You deserve shit for... I'm repeating like exactly what you just said.
Yes.
No, I'm going to stop right there then.
So what we do would be skills, right? Our
Effort. So here's the thing. I really think that this is the answer. I think everyone believes they should get stuff because of them, who they are, the fact that we're born, the fact that you are Andy or you are Matt or you are me, Dave. But once you get whatever it is that you desire, money,
Success in career,
sure, which leads to money,
women,
money.
which comes from money.
on the right website.
Once you get whatever it is you got, you really, really, really want to convince yourself and those around you that you didn't get it because of who you are. You got it because of what you did. Which brings in the whole idea of deserves and fairness and, non-arbitrariness of life. Because we as people really don't like arbitrary. I mean, what's the big beef with government, especially on my part? Because a lot of it's arbitrary.
That they'll give it to you because the government will just give it to you?
No, it's arbitrary. The government is, in some senses, arbitrary. For example, one of our more recent podcasts that you weren't in on was the California law that's not that old that says you need to be 21 to buy cigarettes. And that law is being proposed and probably going to go through the rest of the country. Well, okay, so as an 18-year-old, I have the wherewithal and the mental faculties to pick administrators of my government, that I have the maturity to decide to get my ass blown off in far away a stand, but I don't have the maturity or the faculties to decide to smoke a cigarette or to drink an alcoholic beverage.
You don't like that inconsistency?
It's arbitrary.
Very. I agree.
I mean, if you're gonna make it 21, why shouldn't it be okay? You need to be 21 to drink, to vote, to join the military, to be considered an adult.
I can definitely agree with that. If you're gonna do it all the way.
And the
Not
reason,
pick
and
and
and there, that's why I'm saying we don't like the arbitrary, and that's the whole thing about should we get stuff because of who we are, or because of what we do. We don't want to seem like we're arbitrary. In fact, we don't like we hate our arbitrary so much that there's a mental disconnect. You arbitrarily want a whole lot of good stuff to happen to you because you're you, but you want to convince yourself and everyone around you that it's not arbitrary, it's because of all this junk that I did.
Is it arbitrary though?
What?
Success. I mean,
It can be,
I'm
but
sure there's people that have.
look, everything can be arbitrary, everything may be arbitrary, but we don't want to think that it is because we are beings that really dislike arbitrary stuff.
I hate that idea that it's just random, arbitrary, whatever. Because then like, what's the I know you had it. What's the fucking point? If everything, if we're not the masters of our own destiny, then
Well, you're not the master of your own destiny, number one.
There is no master.
I don't care who you are, you're not the master of your destiny. You can think that all you want.
well, that gives you some security, peace of mind, whatever you want to call it.
You're building a castle on the flimsiest foundation in that sense.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why? Because I want some security. I want to feel like everything's not random.
He's
and-
saying you're building that on an idea that is loose, floozy.
No, he's saying it's incorrect, right?
No, I'm saying that you want that feeling,
Yeah.
but that feeling isn't grounded on any kind of logic. Well, logic might not be the right word. Look, everybody
Well,
wants
it's-
security, correct? Yes, but anything can be taken away from you like that.
Means your security can be thrown
But
away.
if you taught that to kids in school,
Then what?
then why even go to school?
Whoa.
Why even-
that's a whole nother point.
Is it?
Yes, that's social engineering. That's societal engineering.
We're taught in school, work hard, build relationships, and you'll be successful, which is the what we do part, right? That's the what we do part. But you're saying that that's all BS.
I'm not saying anything of the sort. You're saying that I'm saying that.
You're not saying that?
No.
You're saying it's arbitrary. Success is arbitrary.
No, I didn't say that. What if it was? What are you going to do about it? And
I
you
feel very secure about about.
no, you just
Anything.
told me what you would do about it. You yourself, if success were arbitrary,
Then I like what's,
then you would convince yourself and everyone else, haha, it's not arbitrary because I did X, Y, and Z to get what I got. So screw you. It's not arbitrary. I mean, it's essentially your argument is essentially a takeoff on the my facts don't care about your feelings, or my feelings don't care about your facts. Sorry.
But you're so like you're like there's no What if it is what we do?
Fine, I don't care.
You're saying it isn't.
No, I'm not. My whole question was, what should it be?
Who we are
Oh.
and what we did.
Should it be that you get a whole bunch of junk because of who you are or because of what you do? And my answer was, I think we all in our heart of hearts desire us to get whatever to get our heart's desire because of who we are. But once we get that, we want to convince ourselves and everyone around us and people that might hear the story about it that it's because of what was
Well,
done.
who's going to sit there and say, "Oh, this is all just nothing I ever. My success is not on account of anything I did."
There are people that would say that.
Who?
People with low self-esteem.
No, not necessarily. There are people that would say that.
I'm trying to think of somebody that's ever said that.
They got lucky.
Well,
Well, people always say that, but they don't mean it.
and that's
Like I'm extraordinarily fortunate.
That would be not because who I am for what I did. Essentially, what they're claiming.
No, they're claiming they're trying to be humble in that sense.
Good for them.
That's like the acceptance speech, you know. I feel like so extraordinarily fortunate, but they don't. No one. Do people really mean that when they say it? I would say no.
So really, you are caught up in what I just said, and you're trying to put arguments in my point, and really, you don't have. Actually, I don't know if you do or not.
I know I have an answer. I just don't like the answer.
What's your answer?
That I should get stuff because of who I am.
I just said that. I just said that I think we all think that, but then we want it to be proclaimed on the highest mountain top that whatever I got was because of what I did.
So you think there's absolutely nobody who got something for what they did? We've all.
I don't know. I don't know. Look. Everybody puts forth effort.
Right.
Everybody tries.
At that point, isn't it what they did? If they put the effort and try.
Everybody is a hard worker, in my book.
Oh, that's
really.
That's pretty generous of you.
Well, I'm not talking about from my perspective. I'm talking about the perspective of the person doing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Everyone thinks that they work hard. Everyone thinks that they put forth effort. Whether or not everybody else thinks that they put forth effort is a whole nother can of worms, right?
The perception of their success.
But, you know, yeah, so.
Interesting.
But is it because, I mean, do you want stuff because of who you are or because of what you did? And because it's so ingrained in us, because we don't like arbitrary, because it is arbitrary. If people got stuff based on some kind of divine or cosmic arbitrariness, there'd be a whole lot of, well, there is a whole lot of unhappiness, right? Everyone who is unsuccessful thinks it's somebody else's fault. Mm-hmm. And everybody who is successful thinks it's because of to their credit.
Because of what they did, or they think for what they did.
Well, that's what they want to think, because if things are truly arbitrary, that would break a lot of people's psyches. Even though they want to be the beneficiary of all the arbitrariness.
Because of who they are.
Right.
They want to, it's for what they did.
Right.
All right.
Well, this one went a little long, and everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy.
The word of the day is arbitrary.
I don't know if it is or if it isn't. I really don't care.
My calendar didn't say it. I lied.
What now?
My word calendar didn't say arbitrary.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I wasn't paying attention to you because you tend to throw out stuff to try and be shocking when there's no need. Okay. I mean, if, you know, I think people listening, and I don't mean to, you know, put you on the spot here, Andy, but it does seem like when you don't have anything to say, you just want to shock people.
Yeah, it helps.
Which is what people used to accuse me of, funnily enough.
Ooh, are we the same?
No, because I said stuff to shock people just because I wanted to shock them. I didn't, you know, it's not that I didn't have anything to say. I just like to shock people.
Well, it is fun.
But even then, actually, no, you know what? Maybe we should continue this on another podcast, because now I've just thought about it and I don't know what the hell I was doing. But anyway, thank you very much for listening if you made it this far.
All right, thanks for tuning in to Low Fat Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. Just search Low Fact. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Low Fat Podcast. If you want to chat to us, send us some comments, or have us talk about some things, just send an email to lowfatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on our Twitter and Instagram pages at Low Fat Podcast. And also check out Andy's pages where he mixes our beats, Twitter and Instagram at A Fantasy Beat. And you can also find his wicked ass shit on SoundCloud at Artificial Fantasy.